Hi, this is Adrian from White Hat Automation, just making a quick beta demonstration video to go along with the beta version of SpinAchieve 3. Now, SpinAchieve 3 has a boatload of features, as you would expect, probably more than all other spinners put together. But today I'm going to demonstrate the new Super Spin feature. I'm going to use Word AI for comparison purposes. Now, Word AI is a very popular browser-based spinner, and its main strength is spinning to human-readable level while still remaining unique. Now, I'm going to use this article from eZine Articles to demonstrate. So I'll just copy and paste this into the Turing spinner. This is the super advanced version of Word AI. It gives better results. In our experience, articles which are produced at this level are good. They do have a higher level, as you can see, very readable. But articles produced at this level, whilst they are very readable, the results are not so good in terms of uniqueness. So we just hit the Spin Now button. And we can see the progress bar beginning there, and it says, "We are spinning your article. Thank you for your patience. It will be worth the wait." And Word AI has various methods for ensuring human readability. Obviously, there's straightforward synonym replacement, but Word AI also spins sentences. It can recognise some words that have multiple meanings and apply the correct synonym, and it can also recognise parts of speech such as verbs, nouns, adjectives, etc. SpinAchieve 3 can do all of this too. So if you want these features, don't worry. They'll be available when SpinAchieve 3 is officially released. But in our tests, we realised that a new approach was needed, one that's organic and grows with the needs of our customers, one that gets better the more it's used. So we developed our exclusive statistical replacement technology. And it works in a totally different way to any other spinner by selecting the statistically best synonyms or phrases for each word and phrase in the article. It works in a similar way to some Google services, such as Google Translate. Now, if you use Google Translate, you may have noticed it getting better with more accurate translations over time. And this is how SpinAchieve 3 works too. Not only is this new spinning technology exclusive to SpinAchieve, it also makes use of its strongest asset, the colossal Cloud Thesaurus. No spinner can compare with that, so we're confident that you're not going to see this technology appearing in any other software anytime soon. So now we can see that Word AI has stopped spinning, and it took a bit of time. In our experience, usually about a minute. So let's take a look at this example of, at the bottom here, a super unique spin. Word AI calls it super unique because it's taken a second synonym from each set of synonyms in the brackets. The first synonym in each set of brackets is the original word from the article, so obviously the article would not be unique if it used those synonyms because it would be no different to the original. I'll just show you that. If you look at the original article here, if I have a look at this sentence, let's have a look. I have compiled this list of some of the more popular options. And in the spun version, instead of I have, which is the original, it's got I've, and then the next one is several there. And it's taken those two synonyms and put them in I've here and several here. Now it takes the first available unique non-original synonym because that's the best one. It lists the synonyms in the order of how good they are, of the quality of them, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's Spinnachief works in a very similar way to that too. So let's have a look at the readability of a super unique article. And first of all, the first paragraph we've got here is this can clearly vary from individual to individual, but there are several concerns that I recommend that you ought to take into consideration. Now that's quite reasonable, but if you have a look at this article here, it doesn't say that. It says, would you agree with me that the best home business is that which gives you the highest income based on your abilities and interests? Then it comes up with this sentence that Word AI has spun. This will obviously differ from person to person. So for some reason, Word AI has missed half of the first paragraph out, and I'm not sure whether it's a bug or whether they actually intend to do it that way, but it's something to do with the way they set out the spin tags. I'm not sure why that happens, but if you're only going to use half the paragraph, you can run into problems with it actually making sense, and you can see that this doesn't really make too much sense. It makes sense on its own, but not in context with the paragraph. And similarly, if we go down to the bottom, we can see here, appropriate insurance can even be needed. That makes sense on its own, but if we go down to the bottom here, the actual sentence is here, obviously where required you should obtain the correct training for some of the above, as well as comply with all laws and regulations that apply in your area. Appropriate insurance may also be needed. So it's missed out all of this. Again, I don't know whether it's a bug or whether the makers of Word AI actually intend it to do that. But by missing out lumps of paragraphs, you can lose the actual sense of the article. Having said that, the rest of the article reads pretty good. It's the readable level that we're on, and it's certainly readable. If we just have a look at this paragraph here, though, the home decor paragraph, let's have a look at this. It says, whether inside or out, the house renovation market is not ending. You can do yourself to the job or come up with a team to complete it for you personally. A great standing in this place will immediately bring about a really fine company. You kind of understand what it's saying, but it's not. The English isn't too good. But apart from that, pretty good. Now it's called a super unique spin, and if you're going to call an article super unique, there's only one way it could be super unique. And that's if it's going to pass Copyscape. So let's do what it says here, copy to the clipboard. And I can just put it straight into Spinnachief, just for the purposes of checking Copyscape. Let's get rid of that just in case that works against the article for Copyscape. But that's it, as spun, that's the super unique as spun by Word AI. So if I go into Spinnachief's spin GUI here and just hit spin, it's not going to spin it, but it is going to take us to this facility where we can check by Copyscape. So I've hit the button, check by Copyscape, and we can tell the results from Copyscape are not so good. We've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is that 7 websites, all showing that they have similar copies to that article, so it's far from unique, unfortunately. Okay, so let's go on to Spinnachief itself and have a look at what it can do with the same article. So let's go into get the article from Easy in Articles. So I'm just going to highlight it, copy it and paste it into SpinAchieve. Again, we'll just get rid of this little bit here. Okay, so now we go into the SuperSpin GUI. This is the new feature containing the new algorithm that I talked about earlier. And I just want to focus on these top three options for the purpose of this video. We've got spin to readable and unique, spin to best readable, spin to most unique. So you've got three options and they're pretty self-explanatory. No settings to mess about with. Just choose one of the three and hit spin. The default is spin to readable and unique. This is what's going to give us a direct comparison with Word AI. Now, before I hit the spin button, I just want to direct your attention to this area down here. This is where the progress bar for the spin will appear after I hit the spin button. Right, and keep focus on that area as I press the spin button now. Now, how fast was that? Did you catch it? Blink and you'll miss it. That must have been, about 3 seconds? So already you can see how very fast SpinAchieve is with this new system. So let's go into the Spin GUI. Now I've got don't use original word checked here. That means it's not going to use any of the original words. And I've got spin orderly checked as well. That means it spins in order. So if there's 5 synonyms for one word, it would spin the first available one, and then the next time you spin it would spin the second one, etc. And we're only going for one article. So this type of spin is going to give us an article that results in a similar way to Word AI spin. It's going to be unique because we're not using the original word, and it's going to use the best synonyms available because we're using the spin orderly setting. So if I hit spin, let's see what happens. Well, first thing is, you see it's very, very fast. So now what's it like? Well, let's go to remember the first paragraph that Word AI only took half of it. Let's see what we've got for that. Would you trust me that the very best home business is whatever gives you the best income, predicated on your abilities and passions? This can obviously differ from individual to individual, but there are several considerations that I would recommend that you should consider. So that's really good human readability, and it hasn't missed anything out like Word AI did. Similarly, if we go to that end paragraph, remember that there was some missing from that too. This is it here. Obviously, where required, you need to have the correct training for a few of the above, and also comply with all regulations that apply in your town. Appropriate insurance can also be needed. Again, that reads perfectly well, and there's nothing missing out. So let's have a look at what about the one that we looked at that didn't look so good. Let's just go back to that and check it again. As Word AI has it, it's that this one here. Whether inside or out the house, renovation market is not ending. You can do yourself to the job or come up with a team to complete it for you personally. A great standing in this place will immediately bring about a really fine company. Yeah, that's not so good, is it? What has SpinAchieve got? Whether indoors or out the house, renovation market is constant. You can do the task yourself or come up with a team to accomplish it for you. An excellent reputation of this type will quickly create a very nice business. So that's very readable. It's at least as readable as Word AI, possibly even better, you might think. So we're doing very well. It's very fast. It's very accurate. It's human readable. So what about the copyscape check? Let's check this version that SpinAchieve has spun, checked by a copyscape. And that's clear. Now, if you remember that the Word AI version, even with the super unique article, copyscape found instances of the article in 6 or 7 websites. The SpinAchieve spin is completely clear. So not only is it readable, but it's completely unique as well. And this is the power that the new feature will bring to SpinAchieve. So that's an introduction to the power of SpinAchieve. We're not trying to discredit Word AI, far from it. In fact, we think Word AI is a really good service, and that's why we're trying to show how SpinAchieve compares to it. So to conclude, we know SpinAchieve it's fast, it's very fast. It can spin to a level that is both human, readable, and genuinely unique. It will be a very low price, certainly not $50 per month or anything like that. And right now, the beta version is free to everyone. So go ahead and download it now. Don't forget to help us by letting us know of any issues or bugs you may find. And happy spinning!